Before we begin today, I want to say thank you to everyone who's left a comment, written a review, supported the show on Patreon, clicked the YouTube super thanks button, bought a copy of my book, or even just chose not to skip the ads. You're the reason the podcast reaches someone in the middle of their darkest moment. You're helping them feel seen. You're helping me keep this going. Today's conversation is one of those revelations, the kind that stays with you. Tara Miller was 46 when she had a stroke, seemingly out of nowhere. She wasn't sick, she wasn't at risk, and yet a tear in her artery caused by a rare condition called fibromuscular dysplasia changed everything. From a busy career and parenting two daughters to losing her ability to drive, to cope with numbers, or to handle a spreadsheet. Tara's life didn't just pause, it reset. What followed was a slow and deeply personal process of rediscovery. Through invisible deficits, TIAs, and even a collapsed lung, Tara found new strength in volunteering, horseback riding, and learning to show herself the patience she never had before. If you're in the middle of rebuilding yourself after stroke, this episode is for you. Let's dive in. Tara Miller, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me. I look forward to our conversation. Tell me a little bit about what it was like for you before stroke.
Before stroke, seems so long ago to me. Only 3.5 years ago, but um, a lifetime ago, to be honest with you. Before stroke, busy, busy, busy. I had a career in human resources and payroll. Um, I I am a mom of two daughters and a wife, but we were busy with life. Um, at the time of my stroke in 2021, it was COVID, so I was working at home. But generally, um, I wasn't a person that would work at home. So that was kind of, I mean, the world. That was an odd time for, I believe, all of us. But at the time of my stroke, I was working at home. And I don't really think about pre-stroke anymore. I don't have pre-stroke is a lifetime ago to me. It's a lifetime ago.
Do you recall what you were focused on back then? What were your goals? What were you hoping to achieve?
Oh boy, they've that's changed dramatically. Um, I was looking to move up in my career, to be honest with you. And that's at a standstill. I'm not even back at work. There's not even like a return to work um in place. My company, we have said our goodbyes, just given the length of time I have been off, understandably. But at that time, 3.5 years ago, I was looking to move up in my career. My youngest daughter was entering her teen years, so you can imagine that was going to be fun and challenging and very demanding of me as a mother, with driving her around, which also came to a dead stop, with losing my license, for medical reasons. And just everything just came to a stop.
Mhm. How did you view your health? Did you have a sense of whether you were healthy or not, or were you out of shape, or was there anything that you look back
No,
on now and
nothing.
go, "Oh, I didn't take care of that or this," or
No, I would say I wasn't unhealthy. I wasn't the healthiest person. Like I'm not a fit guru or anything like that, but I wasn't unfit. Um No, it came out of the blue. Um, it was shocking. I mean, I remember the day like it was yesterday.
Tell me.
Um, yeah, just it's even sitting here in this desk, remembering back because I was actually working down in this room the day it happened. It didn't happen in this room. It did happen upstairs in my own bedroom, but I had been ill that week, probably related to the stroke, but I had no idea what was going to happen the night I had my stroke. Just no idea.
Did you, when you say you were ill, what kind of illness did you have? What the issue?
Um, Earlier that week, I had some headaches. I have had headaches from stroke, and I have a lot of headaches post-stroke that I'm still dealing with. Um, I think a lot of stroke survivors do. I've tried everything, but that can be another topic. Um, so earlier in that week, I had had a headache, one of my many, and I was just feeling unwell, kind of um like sick to my stomach. So I had been vomiting, aggressively vomiting, like bruised myself vomiting, just because it was so aggressive. It was, so I was home. I mean, I was home, but I was homesick. So I called in to sick even though I was working from home. Um, so I had missed a couple days of work, and then I went back on the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and worked my full shift on Friday, or worked a full hours on Friday, and still wasn't feeling good. I still had like this stomach. I didn't know if I had a virus or just my stomach was unwell, and I never wanted to be sick again the way I was because it was aggressive. And I went to bed early, and then my world changed. Our world changed. My family's world changed in a blink of an eye.
You went to bed early to get some rest to hopefully feel better. Uh,
Yes.
and then what happened? What did you notice that wasn't the same? How did it go down?
Um, it's surreal to me. It's surreal because I've taken first aid. Um, and while I was in like having a stroke, I did not realize I was having a stroke. Um, but while I was in it, I did not know what, like I was fully aware something was different, but I did not know what was different. Um, I I went to the washroom, and then I came back and I had this sensation of like this overwhelming sensation of dizziness and like a vision loss. So I crawled into bed, and I have one of those beds that can go up and down. And I was watching, and it's kind of ironic. I was watching Schitt's Creek. Like I love it. I love that show. And I felt this overwhelming sensation that I wanted to go to bed. Like I just felt like I'm so tired. And then I was lying there, and I don't know what episode it was. I don't remember now, and I don't know what had happened, but like my right side was went numb. So I just thought, oh, my arm's asleep. Like that's so weird. Because I felt something under me, and I was like, what is that? And then it was my arm. I'm like, that's so weird. Like what's going on? So I lifted it and it would fall. I'm like, that is so weird. And I kept like, that is like, why is it so asleep? Like it should wake up now because I'm holding it. And I'd pick it up and it would fall again. And it would just fall back. this is so weird. I don't know what is going on, but I had this overwhelming sensation. I just wanted to close my eyes. So I was looking for my converter that would put my bed down.
Mm.
And then I kind of this is so weird, but I kind of slid off my bed because I was paralysis on one side. But I did not know that because in my head, I didn't know I was, I guess, stroking out ultimately.
Hmm.
So now I'm on the ground and half of my, like my right side is fully paralysis. So now I'm on the ground with one of my cats, not the one that you're watching now.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him and I'm like, what is going on? This is so bizarre to me. Like, this is weird. So my husband yells up to me and he's like, "Hun, are you okay?" And I kind of, I thought I yelled down to him, like, no, like something's weird. But what I feel comes out is, what's, Snoopy
Hmm.
and the like blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what I feel was coming out. So I literally crawl back on my bed and I'm sitting there and my husband happens to come up because he doesn't hear a response from me. And I show him my I say I say to him,
Let's pause here for a moment. At this point in the story, you've heard what it was like for Tara to lose her career, her license, and the ability to do something as routine as math, all while looking fine from the outside. If you're listening to this and thinking, that's me too, I want you to know you're not alone. Invisible deficits are real, the exhaustion is real, and making it through the day can feel like a full time job. If this part of the story resonated with you, drop a comment on YouTube and let me know. What's been the hardest part of your recovery that others don't see? Also, a huge thanks to everyone helping this show grow. Your YouTube super thanks, your support of the book, and those of you on Patreon, you're keeping this conversation going. All right, let's get back to Tara as she begins to talk about rebuilding life with fatigue, horseback riding, and a new kind of resilience.
"Look at my arm." So I lift up my arm and he looks at me and his face drops about 10 shades. And I'm like, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" And he's like, "I'm gonna call 911." And I'm like, "Why?" But I guess I didn't realize I wasn't really speaking. Like, so it's gibberish. And to me, I'm speaking perfectly fine.
Right.
But to him, it, I'm not making any sense. So he calls 911 and then paramedics came and they call over to a hospital that has a stroke unit. Um, and well, I guess the rest is history. But the fun thing about the paramedics coming is when they come to get me, I don't have a droopy face, so I only have two of the three um
Fast.
symptoms.
Yep.
Yeah, the fast. And we do fast. We don't do be fast. We're
Hmm.
starting to do be fast here, but it's just fast. So as we're like in my driveway, I'm like, I have to be home by Sunday. I have payroll to do. And the paramedics are like, yeah, I don't think so, but you talk to the doctor. And I'm
Mm.
like, well, no, like I got to be home. And they're like, "Hmm, I don't
Okay.
think so."
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then we went to the hospital and like I was in a I don't know where I was. Like I don't know if I was like in my body or not because I was all coherent, but I wasn't really and I don't think I knew the severity of what was going on. Because then when we got to the hospital and they opened up the doors, there was like all these doctors and nurses at the like the doors. And I'm like, are they there for me? And the paramedics are, yes, it's like an episode of Grey's Anatomy for me. And I'm like, oh my goodness. They're like, this is very serious. I'm like, well, it's odd to me because I feel I'm perfectly fine,
Wow.
like in my head, but I don't realize the severity of it.
There's a
And
disconnect between your brain,
oh,
which is stroking
it's,
out the seriousness of
it's
the situation, and
uh,
your body, and that whole test that you were doing where your arm wasn't working. That's just, it's very common. People often tell me how they observe their body during the stroke. They're not alarmed or concerned or anything, and they just find it fascinatingly bizarre that their arm or their leg is not working. It's not uncommon at all. So you get to the hospital, they treat you like royalty. Uh, they bring you in, and then what? What happens then?
um, so I did ask if I could go to the washroom, and the doctor's like, "No, we're gonna do some tests on you. Can you wait?" And I remember saying, "I guess so," but and she said, "This is very serious." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So I just went with the flow. Keep in mind, I had on my pajamas.
Because it was bedtime.
And I asked the paramedics if I could change, and they're like, no. So I looked at my husband. So I left the house with a t-shirt on, shorts, and my cell phone. So when I get there, I have my t-shirt, shorts, my cell phone, and they put a pair of yellow socks on me because I was a bit cold,
Uh-huh.
like after they do all these tests. I did a CT scan. I believe I was still stroking. So the doctor at that hospital did not administer the TPA. She did not, it was, I have learned, it could have gone either way. But she took the more conservative approach, I would say, and did not do it, because she didn't see the stroke at the time on the CAT scan.
Uh-huh.
Um, so they admitted me to the stroke ward. I was there for a week. Um, we did the MRI, um, which that was my first MRI ever, and that is absolutely scary. I'm used to them now because you get used to them after having a brain injury.
Hmm.
But I had the MRI. So the stroke was a Friday night. I had the MRI, I believe, on the Monday, and then it came back. Yeah, indeed, it was a stroke. And when the doctor told me, I just started to cry
Was that the first
because
time
now,
you realized something was actually seriously wrong?
yeah, yeah, I was like, a stroke. Like I'm 46 years old. It seems weird.
Hmm.
And I can still remember him telling me because I was just coming back from um walking around with my walker. And I mean, not even that far because I couldn't walk that far. And him saying, "Yeah, you've had like a left side stroke."
So were you walking within 7 days? Were you back on your feet? Did that uh, initial paralysis settle down?
It did. I was walking with a walker.
Yeah. So it
Yeah.
started to settle down quite quickly while they were treating you. So it was an
Yes.
ischemic stroke. Do they know what was
Yes.
the underlying cause?
So the medical term is fibromuscular dysplasia.
Uh-huh.
So artery dissection, which
Uh-huh.
means I have weak arteries. And we would never have found that out unless I had a stroke.
Uh-huh.
So it stemmed from the neck, and then went to my brain. Um, Now with it's common that so that was a major stroke. Probably the week before, I did have a mini stroke that was on the right side. And it's quite common that you have a little stroke before a big stroke,
Uh-huh.
but I might have had just a headache, which I did.
Uh-huh.
I've had headaches commonly. So with the type of stroke I had, which and I'm thankful that I do know why I had a stroke because there
Mm.
are lots of people who don't. Um, I did, so I'm in year three, 3.5 years now. I did go every 6 months for scans of my neck and my head and my stomach because they want to make sure all the major arteries they're staying
In good working
they're
order.
yeah, they're in good working order. So I do have a vascular specialist that I do see regularly on
Mhm.
top of the neurologist.
Yeah.
And I've had in my recovery, I was hopping along, doing okay, because recovery is the first year for me is I think just I don't even know what to say about the first year, to be honest with you. I think I was in denial.
You couldn't
I
accept it.
no. Um I I joined a lot of peer support groups through March of Dimes. That's where I've met a lot of my stroke survivor friends. That's how I found out about you, obviously, through my friends. But I thought I was going back to work in January. I thought I was getting my license back. So many things, and it's 3.5 years, and I'm not back to work because of my cognitive deficits. I just got my license back last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's quite a milestone,
Mm.
but the brain fatigue is a new level with driving.
Ah, so much to concentrate on, and
Oh,
your brain gets overwhelmed.
it does. It does get overwhelmed, but I'm very thankful I have my license back.
Yeah. So you're
It's a
just doing short
new,
trips now,
yeah, yeah. I
a- a-
just
and it'll come back. It'll improve as you start to build up the muscle again of driving, and it should be less and less fatiguing, but
mhm.
it makes complete sense. The sensory overload from driving, so many things you got to pay attention to all at one time.
It is. My naps are much longer.
Ah,
My naps are much longer now with driving.
when do you find you need to do a nap? Like what time of the day?
I nap about anywhere between like 1 and 4. I used to be able to nap for just an hour. Um, but since driving, I would probably do a 2 to 3 hour nap. And I will still go to sleep just fine tonight.
On the right time as well.
Yeah.
Wow, that just goes to show how much you need that nap to just get you past that fatigue that driving has caused. I love that though, because it's the perfect way to continue the rehab. We'll call it rehab, right? It's driving, but we'll call
Oh,
it rehab because you're driving, you're doing something really hard for your brain, you're putting it in a difficult situation, you're fatiguing it, you're tiring it out, and then you give it what it needs to rehabilitate, to rest, to recuperate, and then you're back at it again and you feel recharged and it helps you get through the rest of the day.
absolutely. Absolutely. If I don't nap or rest, there, my husband can tell, I can tell
Mm.
it's not good. I've had mini strokes since my stroke.
Uh-huh.
Um, And I think one of them was because I was overdoing it,
Mm.
but one of them actually just came out of nowhere. And it was as a stroke survivor, um, I was on the road to recovery. I was in year two. I thought everything was going fine and dandy. I was kind of feeling really good, understanding this new path, understanding you've met Doug, understanding 2.0, trying to get to know her. And then boom, I was hit with a mini stroke. And I thought, wow,
Was that
just,
hard to accept?
um, it was at first because I was just like, why? Why? I don't understand. I'm doing everything that I'm told to do. I'm following everything. I just don't understand why me? Like I've already been through this. Why is this happening again? And why a mini stroke?
Mm.
It's, so luckily for the support groups and the peers, um, it's normal. And I was like, okay, I guess it's normal to have these little TIAs when you least expect them. So
It's
now I
probably
just,
common. It's common. It does
oh,
happen.
it's very
Normal, I don't know
common.
about normal, but common, yeah. And it's a lot of people describe. There's often a number of events afterwards. Sometimes people have events that are kind of false alarms, but then also
Hmm.
sometimes there are actual events. I was in a similar situation. My first two happened within 6 weeks of each other, the bleeds that happened in my head. And then the next one happened, a year and a half later. And it was the biggest setback because that one there required brain surgery and then learning how to walk again and everything. So that you go through those ups, downs, then you go through like big ups and then you go through downs. That's kind of my journey was very jagged. It was not a straight line, that's for sure.
Yes, you've explained that well. But I think because I was so up,
Mm.
it just it did bring me so down. Um, and I think with the TIA, I felt my speech did step back a lot. Um, my aphasia comes out when I'm tired. Um, or my speech is delayed when I get tired, and still to this day. But a lot of people don't notice it because, well, they do notice because I will start talking like slower, or more delayed. But I found after the first TIA or maybe the second one, my speech did step back. So it was like I went two 2 feet forward or 2 steps forward and then 10 steps back.
Uh-huh.
So like you said, that was a big adjustment for me. But now because that was in 2003 that I had TIAs and now it's 2025. I've learned to just go with the flow. And I I was a high tense person pre-stroke. I'm a calm person now. I wouldn't say I'm like a hippie, calm
Guru.
person, but I'm calmer.
Yeah.
Like
There's an improvement.
there's a huge improvement. So I can't let the little things bother me.
Mm. So this TIA that you experienced, did you know that was happening at least? Was there a warning sign? Did you do something about it?
The first TIA I did call 911, and I know I'm supposed to call all the time, so I'll leave it at I do call 911.
Now.
Um, um, yes, I do. I'm supposed to check my blood pressure frequently because I have low blood pressure. So if I'm having a stroke, it will go very high.
Uh,
So that day that I had, when I have my TIAs, they mirror the exact symptoms I had when I had a stroke. I
uh-huh.
have right side paralysis. I get dizzy, my vision gets blurred, and I have high blood pressure. And in both in all the instances, like I can't stand, like because my whole right side is paralysis.
Uh-huh. Okay. So it's a so what did they do to support the blood vessel that had dissected? Did they put a stent in there? What did they do with it?
Um, they just watch it.
Okay. And you're on blood
There's
thinners.
been there's been no change in 3 years. Um, so the big stroke was from my neck, and they won't do anything. Like they're just watching it, but there hasn't been any change. The mini stroke was an artery between my brain and my skull. They can't
Ah,
do anything.
okay. So it was a new location.
Yeah, a new location. So they will, so I do go for scans yearly to make sure that one's not doing anything. And then they also check my stomach. But yeah, new location.
I see. Okay. So you're on a kind of like a regular scan, a regular hospital
Yes.
visit so that you guys can just keep everything monitored.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel very fortunate. I have a vascular specialist and I have two neurologists, one that I see regular and then one that I asked to keep because he was the one that I saw at the hospital that I stayed in.
Hmm.
The other neurologist I was the one neurologist suggested me to. So he's a top neurologist in Ontario, like in Canada. So he's a little farther away, but like I go to him every 6 months.
Yeah. So you know that
So
idea of needing help and connecting with the stroke support groups. What was behind that? What were the issues that you needed to, I don't know, get your head around, and therefore you needed to connect with other stroke survivors?
um actually I didn't even know there was programs available. I was at rehab after my stroke and I found a poster that said young stroke survivors. So I called or emailed
Did you think you
and
were young at 46?
yes.
Yeah, some people think they're old. Good. You at least thought you were young. Cool.
Well, young stroke survivor, I thought I'm a young stroke survivor.
Yeah.
When I think of us, and hopefully no one takes offense to this, because now that I've been open to the stroke world, I mean, strokes do not discriminate. Um, they hit any age, but when pre-stroke, when I think of strokes,
Mm.
I thought of the movie, oh, what movie is it? You know, with Brad Pitt when he's and his name's Tristan and his dad has a stroke. Mm.
Maybe someone can tell us in the comments. I don't know. But you think of old people. I know. Do 20-year-olds think of us as old people?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
I would think so. I think my daughter thinks I'm old and she's 26.
Yeah.
So,
So when you get to 46 or 50, like I am, we're still young and we feel young and we are young because the average age of an adult human being, somewhere around 80 or something or more, or the expected living age, I beg your pardon. So yeah, I agree with you. I think we're young.
I think we're young to have strokes.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Even more specific there. Yep, I agree.
And I think this poster said working age, young stroke survivors working age. So I
Okay.
think that's what caught my attention,
Tick, tick.
because I think a lot of people, and again, now that I'm a stroke survivor, it helped me. I wanted to reach out to other survivors in and around my age to understand, well, how are you coping?
Hmm.
How are you coping with no license? How are you coping not going back to work? How are you coping with a teenage daughter or a young a young daughter, a young adult daughter, and now you've had a stroke? Um, because there's some peers that are retired. So some of the stroke stories are, well, I was retired when I had a stroke. And I want to hear your story, but I don't relate with you.
It's a completely
I
different.
I'm you're at a different stage. I'm
Yeah.
not retired yet, and I shouldn't be retired yet.
Mm.
I'm only 50 now. I had a stroke at 46. I still had 20 years of work. 20. And I'm not good with math, so let me do the math on that. And like math? Oh, I actually didn't realize, and I laugh at it, how stroke could affect, because I had a left side stroke.
Hmm.
Math is gone, all gone. So when we talk numbers, I mean, I can add two plus two. But
Yeah.
if you showed me like a spreadsheet, even a spreadsheet I did, because I
Mm.
I mean I did payroll, I would be
Yes.
amazed. I would be amazed by it.
So I know what you mean. I mean, I have a problem with maths. Um, and it's not the standard uh, numerals and all that kind of stuff, adding things, simple things. In my business, I can put quotes together and I can develop a price for somebody. But if you give me something like a spreadsheet, I think it's the sensory overload. Like it actually triggers me. And I don't normally get triggered by almost anything. I remember being in a meeting when when I wasn't working in my business. I had 3 years where I was working in an office, and the guy that I was working for was actually a friend of mine, and he was in charge of this particular department in this organization. And this guy is a numbers genius. Like he's a numbers savant. He can look at a spreadsheet and make it sing. And we're sitting in a meeting and he's explaining to the team about this spreadsheet and how we're going to use it and all this kind of stuff. And I'm looking at it and I cannot glean from that spreadsheet that I am going to be able to do what he said with that spreadsheet. Just the amount of data, the numbers was overwhelming. The lines, the brightness, the font, like every single aspect of it, it was just completely overwhelming. I'd never felt overwhelmed to that extent before. I resigned on the spot that day. I said to him, "This is the last day of work for you because I cannot do the kind of work that you ask because I cannot comprehend a spreadsheet with that much detail. I physically cannot comprehend it. My brain, and I know
Mhm.
brains don't have sensory neurons, but my brain hurts when you
Mhm.
show me that spreadsheet and you tell me to get information from it. It's not possible.
I know. My mind is blown when I look at spreadsheets these days. And I used to build them. I
Mm,
used to do them, and I'm like blown. And I can do simple math, but other math, I'm just like, oh, payroll, it's and, and that's why obviously I'm not working at the
yeah.
job I was doing before because like I can't.
If you give yourself some time to work out, say, a calculation of how much change you might get, one of those basic calculations, how much change you might get from buying a loaf of bread, a carton of milk, and all that type of thing. Are you able to do that? Wow.
No. Even you just saying that to me, like I'm starting to get like anxious.
Mm. Isn't it
Um,
interesting? Anxious. You said that. That's what I felt. And that made me
yeah,
walk out of my job on that
yeah,
day.
that made me anxious.
Wow. Yeah. So thank God for, um, well, the supermarket machines that just work it all out for you and you don't have to think about it or worry about it.
Well, exactly, because I wouldn't be able to make change. There's um now when you were in the hospital, did you have to draw a clock?
I did
With
once, I did in my neuropsychological assessment. I definitely did, yes, once.
okay.
And I passed that one. I had no trouble drawing a clock. And I know where you're going, so I'm going to ask you in a sec. But I think what they're testing is to work out whether or not you have all of the left side and all of the right side of your brain's functions. What was your test like? Sorry to
Well,
laugh, because but I know where
oh,
this is
and oh,
going.
definitely laugh because um like the clock with the hands.
Mm.
Like my kids would probably never be able to do it because there's not a lot of clock with hands anymore. But so
Ah.
in the hospital, I failed terribly. Well, that test came up again, because I had to do the driver's rehab assessment. I had to go through a rehab assessment
Ah.
center before I went to get my license, and it came
Mhm.
up again. And I thought, what? Uh, is this really coming up again? And I did get the big hands right, but I did not get the little hands right. And I thought to myself, this test is going to follow me around, and it's and I cried in the hospital. I can remember, well, in the hospital, I mean, I didn't do well on a lot of things,
Mm.
but that was like a few days after my stroke. But last 2 weeks ago, they're like, okay, draw a clock. And I looked at her and I said, what? Draw a clock with hands? Like this, that is my nightmare. So that's why I have to pose the question, did you have to draw a clock? Because now I need to know. And I can't remember if I drew a clock for my neural assessment.
Mm.
But I'm
So
going to start practicing
yeah, maybe because if it keeps coming up, you're going to
because
have to
it
get
keeps
better at it.
coming up.
It's a
I
skill you
did
have to
pass it.
master.
I did pass it because I
Yeah.
did get the main idea of
The,
where it all
the
goes.
numbers,
And
right? So you put the numbers in
I
the
did
right
get the numbers
position
right.
and in
Yes,
order,
I did. I did get it right. I didn't get the little
the
number right
time.
though.
So when they told you make 8 o'clock, for example, you found the 12, but you couldn't make the eight.
Yeah, it was no, I got the big numbers, so I got 3 p.m., but I didn't get
Ah,
like 3:15 because then
ah,
what happened is my payroll brain clicked on and then I clicked into look at it as a quarter. So I didn't look at it as a clock, I looked at it as at a quarter. So yeah, it's and she said, yeah, you passed anyways. Like I did get a point off for not getting the little hand,
mm,
but
was not enough
um
to restrict you from your license.
oh, that was just one part of the test. That
Yeah.
was just one question of the test. It's a very in-depth test.
Mm,
I'm glad they do it. Just because I mean I did have my license suspended for medical reasons. And I mean we did lots of brain tests, but I just can't believe that one came up.
yeah.
It was just like, oh, the hospital again.
But it sounds like you've had a bit of a turn from, all the difficult times, the tough times, and all that. Sounds like you've kind of shifted your mindset. Was there somebody that you met that encouraged you or that made a difference for you? How, when does that turn happen? How do you describe that?
Um, I think it's a combination of all the people I've met in all the different groups. They've all their stories, all their milestones, the sadness and the happiness. just sharing our stories, sharing our updates, our happy stories, our sad stories. I think that helps me get through. Um, I was explaining to my husband just the other day, actually, that there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about the stroke.
Mm,
And I don't think he realizes that.
mm,
Like, there's not a day that goes by. And he is an amazing caregiver. He's been my number one supporter, my daughters, my family, everyone, my friends. I've been very fortunate because I've actually heard like such sad stories. And I've been very fortunate and I've met amazing peers that have also had their ups and downs, but they've supported me and I've supported them. Um, but I'm not saying it's been an easy road.
mm,
I like my deficits are invisible. And it's like that famous comment, "Oh my God, you look so good."
mm.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost in our groups, it's we kind of we laugh at it now because thank you. I know.
It's a cheap consolation prize. It's not really anything, it's not meaningful to hear that.
Mm.
I know it's not intended in any way to be negative. I totally get it. People,
No, it's
don't,
not. It's actually supposed to be very thoughtful
yep,
and an amazing
uplifting,
compliment.
yep, and uplifting.
But it's in our groups, and that's why we on in our groups we're always like, "Oh, it's the other. Oh, you look so amazing." Yeah. My brain doesn't though. My
Yeah.
brain is like so for me, I honestly I can't get sad about it. It is what it is. And but I mean that in a positive way.
Mm,
Um, I'm not looking at the stroke as being a positive thing, but I have to take the recovery positive.
mm,
Um, my life has changed. Like I'm not the person I was. I can't be. That person is kind of gone. I'm not fully, as Doug says, 2 point, like I'm not Tara 2.0 yet. I'm still
mm.
learning her, but
Yeah.
I'm doing things now that I probably wouldn't have done if I didn't have a stroke.
Like what?
Well, I started horseback riding again. And
Wow.
I'm not, yeah, I know. I do have medical clearance to do so. I wouldn't just jump on a horse. I mean, I haven't ridden a horse since I was 19. And at 49, I'm like, let's do this. Let's do this. And I love it.
I bet.
I'm not going to do anything silly. Like I'm not going back to the riding I did as a young, like a child, early adult, but even just getting on the horse and walking and trotting, I mean, I love it. Like my husband says, I've never seen you smile so much.
Mm,
And I don't know if I would have taken that up again.
mm.
If you'd asked me 5 years ago if I would pick up horseback riding, I would probably be like, no, I'm too old for that. And now I'm like, yeah, I go horseback riding once a week. And I'm not like I just like I love it.
That's cool.
I and I've always wanted to learn how to knit.
Mhm.
So I go to a knitting club. Or yeah. I feel
That's
I want to
cool.
knit.
Well,
Well,
that is
and
so cool. It's so useful and practical.
yeah, I want to knit blankets. I don't know. I mean, I have enough blankets in the house, but I want to knit. And I think 5 years ago, I wouldn't have taken the time to learn how to knit. I've asked my mom to show me, but that's a little different. Having someone teach you, I think is very difficult, but I've learning to knit. I volunteer on the stroke ward at the hospital where I had a stroke, and I'm not saying I don't know if I would have ever volunteered, but I enjoy it. I still haven't found the word I want to use. But the way I explain it, it humbles me.
Yeah. It's rewarding as well, is it?
Well, that's it. It is really rewarding for me. It's like I'm it is, and that's, I'm trying to find another word because I don't like how many strokes that are happening.
Yeah.
Like it's so sad. But I say that we've all been invited to this. It's an invite only club, even though we didn't want the invite.
Yeah.
We're here anyway, so we have to make the best of it.
Yeah. Volunteering is really cool. I did that early on as well, quite a bit,
Yep.
probably the first 3 or 4 years. And then after the brain surgery, it was a little bit harder to commit to volunteering. Just recovery took a bit longer than I needed or wanted. And then not long after that, it was hard to get away from work because I got back to work and then COVID. But volunteering was always supportive of me as well as that other person. That's what I found. And my volunteering was for the Stroke Foundation. And we
Hmm.
were raising awareness and we were meeting other stroke survivors, creating a
Hmm.
community, people I still catch up with and see, 10 years later because of that. Uh, and it's really rewarding. And like you, I don't think I would have done uh, any volunteering before stroke. I just wasn't in that frame of mind. It wasn't something that I thought was necessary for me to do. I understood the value of it, but I just didn't think it was something for me. So I like that you've taken up these um, old passions that you let go of because you got busy with work, being a mom, and all that type of stuff. And now you're thinking, well, what have I got to lose? I'll go horseback riding. Is it easy to access to get to a horse riding club from your place?
Oh yes, I live in the country.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I live in the country.
And you get to ride the same horse every week, or is it a different horse?
It's funny. Um, I met my instructor actually had a brain injury. So we're perfect for each other as far as I'm concerned. And her horse, Sierra, was like literally my soulmate horse. And she was the perfect horse for me to ride. She's just an angel. And it was like meant to be for me to be her rider. And she had other students, but it was the perfect horse for me to learn how to ride on again. And we were doing well. Um, and we were actually getting ready to practice for a possible horse show, just a walk trot horse show this May. And in January, unrelated to stroke, I had just weird stuff happens to me. I had a collapsed lung just
Uh-huh.
out of nowhere. Yeah,
Collapsed
a
lung.
collapse. Yeah. Um, yeah, a partial collapsed lung. And then pneumonia.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's very bizarre, very bizarre. Um, Out of nowhere, and I had to take obviously several weeks off. And so my horse Sierra, then we found out that so she has some leg problems. And I don't know the medical term, but she has retired.
Oh,
She had to go into early retirement because of her legs. They're not getting better.
uh-huh.
And it's just like I was broken and then she was broken.
Mhm.
So that's my story about Sierra, who literally was my soul horse. And I've ridden a million horses. I've loved a million horses. I've had horses, but Sierra and I, we were meant to be together for that short little stint.
Yeah.
From and she's gonna be, as her mom says, pasture potato now.
Yep.
And she deserves to be. She's a
Yeah.
beautiful horse. So now I'm gonna be riding Scarlet.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm of the age and I'm delicate where I can't just get on any horse.
Yeah.
So that was a great question, but Sierra and I, we jived. Like she knew it was me on her, and it's very heartbreaking. Um, but we I mean, I'm heartbroken, so you can imagine what her mom is going through after
Yeah.
having her for 13 years, but I'm now riding, and Scarlet is an Arabian horse, beautiful, beautiful face. So I've only ridden her once, because I had to take some time off due to my collapsed
Collapsed
lung.
lung. Yeah, tell me about that. What's all that about? How does that even happen? And how do you
I have
know
no
that you've got a
idea.
collapsed lung?
Well, I was horseback riding, and that's not, I already had it.
Uh-huh.
The collapsed lung had already been there, and I was just out of breath. And I said to my instructor, I feel like I'm out of breath a lot more. And she said, yeah, you seem barely out of breath this time. And then I just went to an urgent care, and I thought I had pneumonia, and they said, no, your chest is clear, but go get an x-ray, like something's going on. And then they called me and they said, yeah, you have a partial collapsed lung, go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, um, and waited and waited and waited and waited. And the doctor said, yeah, you have a partial collapsed lung. Um, we need to do a chest tube.
To reinflate it.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was horrible.
Did you have like a rock bottom moment? Did you get to the stage where you're thinking, oh my God, what is going on? And this is really, was there a moment like that?
No,
No, that's all right.
no.
That's good.
I was just like, really? Really? Like I've gone through one major throat stroke, three TIAs, one hospital stay, or like two hospital stays now, a collapsed lung. It's
Hmm.
a partial collapsed lung, and then a week after that, then I had pneumonia, which I got from the collapsed lung or partial collapsed lung. But they said they don't know why or how I got it. Mostly come like that type of collapsed lung comes from very tall, lanky men that are runners. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, I'm 5'2". I'm not lanky, and I'm not a man. So help me out here. They're
Yeah,
like, we got nothing.
that's
Um,
that's an interesting explanation to give to somebody that's the exact opposite of all those things.
but the exact opposite. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on my way then. So luckily I didn't have to, my lung did reinflate, and I did not have to leave the hospital with the test tube.
Wow.
So I'm happy for that. I do not encourage anyone to get a chest tube. I did not know what it was going to feel like. It's not something I recommend. It was horrible, but I went with the flow.
What do they do? Put a hole through the front of your chest into your lung.
In this side,
Oh my gosh.
I actually
Through
have
through the
never
ribs,
seen.
through the ribs type of thing.
Correct. Yeah,
Gosh.
I've never seen a chest tube be inserted, um, prior to this little incident. And since then, I've seen it done maybe 5 times on medical shows, and I'm like,
Mm.
oh. And it's not it does hurt. There's nothing they can really give to you that really stops all the pain. It's
Uh, Always feel it, right? Okay, so you've had quite the journey. Um, how have you changed, not just physically, but also emotionally and mentally? How do you see yourself these days?
I think I'm happier.
Hmm.
I do.
That's not what I
I'm
was expecting you
calmer.
to say. That's cool.
Uh but I have my moments.
Yeah, everyone does, right? But you're happier, generally happier and calmer.
I am.
That's a great
I am
place to
happier.
arrive to. What are you happier
I
about?
I don't take life for granted. I don't take anything for granted anymore.
Mm,
You know the saying, stop to smell the flowers? Like I
mm,
literally do. I stop and look at birds on my walk.
mm,
I never thought I would stop and look at birds, but I do because they're pretty. And that's something in my previous life I don't think I ever would because I didn't have the time because I was go, go, go. And the stroke just it it stopped everything. It put me in my like it just it scared me. It scared everyone. It's scary. It's but it I didn't die. I could have died,
mm.
but I didn't. I look at I was given another chance.
Sounds like it's changed you in a very meaningful way, this experience that you've had with your health the last few years.
I think it has. I wish little things would stop happening. Like I don't need a partial collapsed lung again. Like
Or
no
another
one needs
TIA.
that,
Yeah, we'll just pause
right?
on the
Like I don't need
drama.
those. Like
Pause on the
I do have
drama.
to work. I do have to work at when I go out. I mean, I do rest up for functions. There are behind the scenes stuff, as you probably know,
Mm,
to get ready for big functions or just to go out. I do prepare. I do prepare when it's time to go horseback riding. Like I will sleep the day before a little longer or I'll rest the day before. I try not to do back to back stuff because I
wow.
can't.
Yep, I
Yeah.
can relate to that.
So there's a lot of behind the scenes to make something happen.
And then usually the next day after horseback riding, is that a rest day as well?
Oh, yes. Actually, even after horseback riding, like my naps are closer to 4 hours.
Yeah.
But it's exhilarating while it's happening, and then it's nap time.
Have you noticed that improving, that nap times are changing, that are they sometimes not even needed naps, or are they always needed still?
They were improving, definitely improving, where I could probably just go have a quiet, lie in the bed and just have quiet time,
Hmm.
until I got my license. And now I'm back to I need them.
Yeah. Okay. So you're
Yeah.
starting to put your brain in a little bit of discomfort by going for a drive,
Yes.
and it's going, all right, I need a rest now. You know, this whole discussion around naps reminds me of the kids when they were little, and then suddenly they don't need to nap anymore. And what do you mean you don't need to nap? You do need to nap. You're going to be grumpy at the end of the day. And them insisting they don't need to nap, and then me insisting, and my wife insisting that you have to nap because now you're ruining our plans for the day, or we were used to your napping routine where we'd get some quiet time. It reminds me of those conversations when I was talking about friends and family about kids' nap time and how it's changed and how they eventually stopped needing it. But this kind of reminds me of a similar thing where you have a lot of need now, but as the years and time progresses and the healing continues, that it should get less and less. But it doesn't seem like you mind napping. You seem to quite enjoy the opportunity to go and have a rest and a nap.
I do. I do, especially if I've had a big day out or something. And naps were getting better and not needed as much, like you said, until I started
Mm,
driving. And I
mm,
noticed I do need to at least go lie down or a quiet time, listen to relaxing music, spa music, just to quiet my head.
yeah, I know. Now, for me, sometimes it's probably a nap's probably not necessary, but that just lying down and listening to chill music or something like that, dark
Yep.
room,
Hmm.
is enough to recharge the brain battery. Um, And I really do look forward to it as well. And I love having nothing to do after something eventful, whatever it is, whether it's going to the football or going to a concert or going out on the town. Just love to have nothing to do afterwards, just to chill out. And it's kind of like my time to decompress and appreciate what I've just seen and done and reflect on it instead of getting on to the next busy thing and going and going and going. Is there something that so the stroke survivors watching and listening, they're probably not at this stage of your journey, or they might be before this stage. What would you like to say to them about the journey and about stroke recovery?
Um, the journey is, well, I've said this to the survivors in the hospital that it's a slow process. And I like to say, and sloth is one of my favorite animals, along with horses, cats, and dogs, and dolphins, like just to
And
name
all
a
of them,
few, but
and
and
birds,
all of
and
them and all the animals. Oh yeah, birds. Birds are my favorite too. But it's a sloth pace. It
Hmm.
really is. And you can't make it go faster. Um, and you have to go with the flow. And every journey is different.
Hmm.
Every stroke is different. Every journey is different. Um, and to have patience. I never had patience. I think I have more patience now than I've ever had before. My older daughter has said, you're not the mom you were to Abby than you were to me. Like you're a different mom." And I'm like, "I'm a different person though." And it's of no fault of my own. Like, I'm sorry that I'm different. It's different times. And she's like, "Abby gets away with everything." And I'm like, "Well, I have to pick my battles. I don't, right? Like I was more uptight then. I can't. I don't care that Abby's room's dirty. Like I don't. I did when Alex was young. So that's just an example. I pick my battles now when
Yeah,
you're raising kids, because I can't let the little things bother me like I did. The stroke recovery is kind of my first priority. I know it's hard to say,
yeah,
but I do put myself first.
yep,
The recovery is first. Um, and it's slow, but it is rewarding. The milestones are rewarding. Um, and there's good days, bad days, happy days, sad days. But it's an invite only club. Even though you didn't want the invite, you have to accept it and go with the flow.
yeah. So it sounds like your child is noticing the difference in your behavior and then
Yeah,
is comparing, as all kids do, comparing themselves to how you treated one sibling as opposed to the other one, and is going, you should be stricter on the other sibling of mine
correct.
to even
Correct.
out the playing field so I can feel like I got a little bit of revenge back or some equality in treatment or something. I totally get that from a kid's perspective. My
Well, they're
son's,
10 years apart.
oh my gosh, it's completely different times, yeah. But they don't understand that.
No. And I mean, I'm a little easier on. I just I feel when I had my stroke was at a very imperative time for my younger one. She just turned, like she was starting grade 8. Crucial time for a young girl, like needed her mom to drive her here, there, and everywhere. And then boom, her mom's in. I felt like I was in bed for 1 year. I literally felt like all I did was lie in bed and order Uber Eats.
Yeah, yeah. I remember missing out on stuff that we should have done, quote unquote, should have done with my youngest as well, camping, fishing, that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. That we just couldn't make it happen. And now that they haven't happened, he's 24, trying to get him into the zone to come to an event with me so I can relive something I should have done with him 10 years ago. Like, it just doesn't happen. But I totally get where you're coming from. Number one has to be you, because if you're not well, then you can't participate in your child's life in any way, and maybe not at all. You might not be around. So what's the point of that? You have to make a sacrifice. But when they're little, they don't understand the sacrifices that adults make. I remember my oldest son, who's 28 now, it would have been about 3 or 4 years ago, come to me and say he kind of had a deep realization as to what I went through and how bad it really was. And it took him 8 or 9 years to get to that stage, to actually, where he grew up, he became mature, and he had a different view on life. And he really kind of came to me one day and he goes, I think I just really understood now what happened and what you went through. So it's kind of good that they don't know, that they're a little bit ignorant, the kids, sometimes, and that they think you're just being a mean mum, or you don't treat me the same as the other one, the usual kid stuff. It's like, if we're still at that stage in life where they still assume that they're just being unfairly treated because they're the most important, what they want is the most important thing in the world, I think that's a good space to be. But
Oh, absolutely.
it comes with a bit of a cost. That's what I felt. And it sounds like you've experienced similar conversations where,
Abby was home when I had the stroke, so
hmm,
she was a part of it. She was here, saw me.
ah,
Her face looked just as scared as my husband's, and I
yeah,
was kind of like, what is going on? Alex was away at school.
yes,
So two different, and Abby
versions.
lives here. Abby deals with me daily. She deals with with mom recovering from a stroke. Alex doesn't.
Yeah,
So it's Abby's gonna get to have a messy room if she wants.
yeah. And
So
Alex is dealing with the "but you look fine" version.
yep,
Didn't see the ill part, the serious
no.
part at that time. I hear you. Yeah, it makes complete sense. Hey, Tara, thank you so much for reaching out. I really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing the story. And I wish you well in your recovery ongoing, and
Thank you.
have a lovely time with your animals.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me, Bill. It was very fun.
Well, that's it for another episode of the Recovery After Stroke podcast. Some stories don't end with a miracle moment. They unfold slowly, like Tara's, through setbacks, surprises, and small wins that all add up. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode in the comments. What part of Tara's story resonated most with you? Let's keep this space where stroke survivors feel seen. And if you want to go deeper, check out my book, The Unexpected Way That a Stroke Became the Best Thing That Happened. If you've ever struggled with meaning after stroke, this book was written for you. You'll find stories, tools, and circuit breakers to help you shift. Check it out at recoveryafterstroke.com/book. To support the show, hit the super thanks button on YouTube or join the Patreon community. And if something in this episode moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need it. And remember, slow progress is still progress. See you in the next episode.
Importantly, we present many podcasts designed to give you an insight and understanding into the experiences of other individuals. Opinions and treatment protocols discussed during any podcast are the individual's own experience, and we do not necessarily share the same opinion, nor do we recommend any treatment protocol discussed. All content on this website and any linked blog, podcast, or video material controlled this website or content is created and produced for informational purposes only and is largely based on the personal experience experience of Bill Gassiamis. The content is intended to complement your medical treatment and support healing. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice and should not be relied on as health advice. The information is general and may not be suitable for your personal injuries, circumstances, or health objectives. Do not use our content as a standalone resource to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease for therapeutic purposes or as a substitute for the advice of a health professional. Never delay seeking advice or disregard the advice of a medical professional, your doctor, or your rehabilitation program based on our content. If you have any questions or concerns about your health or medical condition, please seek guidance from a doctor or other medical professional. If you are experiencing a health emergency or think you might be, call 000 if in Australia, or your local emergency number immediately for emergency assistance, or go to the nearest hospital emergency department. Medical information changes constantly. While we aim to provide current, quality information in our content, we do not provide any guarantees and assume no legal liability or responsibility for the accuracy, currency, or completeness of the content. If you choose to rely on any information within our content, you do so solely at your own risk. We are careful with links we provide. However, third-party links from our website are followed at your own risk, and we are not responsible for any information you find there.